Loading snacks.
What it do, snacker, snackettes, and snack X's? Your boy Gage is here. Jokes is center in the building, and it's time for another episode of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler Boys!
We are officially in the building to spoil Fantastic Four: First Steps, the MCU slash Disney slash Marvel, technically's first foray into what has been for a long time only in the hands of Fox. So there's a lot riding on this in particular, not just in their first opportunity to do what they would want to do or seen done with their characters, but in terms of how it will affect the rest of the MCU. So let's go around the horn and get some scores, gentlemen. Jokes, I'll start with you. What's your pre-discussion score?
I'm at an 8.
Okay.
I thought it was solid. It wasn't super over the top. They may have not put the foot fully on the gas, but I thought it was solid though. Good start for the Fantastic Four within the MCU.
All right, Sin.
I'm at a 7. Yeah. It was good. You know, I don't think it was anything super special or anything like that, but it was solid. It was good.
I'm somewhere in there. I'm at like a 7, possibly an 8, but I'm at a 7. I think that the film itself is handled the way I would expect it to be handled because it's the MCU. With oddly enough more respect, I think, than in previous iterations, and that's not to say that I don't think others were trying, but again, I think that there is a relatively distinct difference between the way this was dealt with, and I think that the idea of doing this as if it already is part of a bigger picture helps. So, yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. Where do we want to start, Jokes?
I mean, I guess we could just talk about the characters because I guess beforehand, I do like how they, just like you said, how it's established. So like the opening was kind of like, it was really like almost like a montage, I guess you say, because they were trying to really show some of the accolades and really tell us the story of how the Fantastic Four became to be. So I thought that was really cool the way that they did that, with not actually having to, hey, here's the whole origin story and go through like the whole nine forward. So for someone that not familiar with Fantastic Four, you pretty much got the gist of it in that probably like 15 minutes that they probably took to do it. Outside of that, like I said, characters like I think they did a good job at balancing each one of the characters. I really liked how Reed just, everything was just in science. It didn't matter what it was. Like solution, just like everyday science. Like he is just in science moving along. And I thought that was very Reed Richards. I thought that was solid. Johnny was cool. He wasn't super over the top, I think, like the Chris Evans version of it. So it kind of grounded him a little bit more, but he still had his little smart marks that he threw in here every now and then. I thought that was a good job. Ben is just kind of chill. Like I like his like mellowness kind of throughout the whole entire thing. He wasn't, I don't know how to fully explain. Like he just wasn't super extra. Like he's just like, he's the best friend. He's kind of just there, but he makes his presence known when it needs to be for it. And then Sue, of course, like honestly, she was kind of the leader at good point in times. Like I thought they did a very good job at positioning her character emotions were really good throughout the whole entire thing, I have to say. So I think the characters, I think they did a really good job at getting them established.
Um, I'd agree. I mean, look, I think it's really difficult to watch and assess this movie without considering what the films before it
Mm-hmm.
have
Hmm.
been. Um, I'm not a fan of the Fantastic Four as a
Mm-hmm.
whole, right? Um, and as I think about it, and we've talked about this before, like as a group, but as I think about it more, I think maybe mostly I'm not a fan of Reed Richards, but
Mm-hmm.
because I like Johnny and I like Sue. The thing I could kind of take it or leave it,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but I like the personality of the thing and how the character is, an oxymoron, you
Mm-hmm.
know, kind of soft and gentle and caring and whatever on the inside, but that hard surface and gruff and toughness on the
Yeah.
outside
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Um, so I do have an appreciation for the character. I think they do a good job. You're right. I think this movie does a better job of establishing the characters individually
Mm-hmm.
and together. I think that one of the things that's special about the Fantastic Four is that how they operate as a unit is essential to who they are. It's almost its own character. So there's the individuals and who they are, and then there's who they are as a group in terms of being Marvel's first family. And so that's almost its own character. And I think that this film does a better job of focusing on the cast, on all of them as a whole, and how they interact with each other and the relationships that they have with each other and the way that they talk to each other. And it doesn't feel forced the
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
way it has in previous films. Um, and I haven't honestly watched those films in a long time, but
Same.
it's hard not to, it's hard to give this movie a grade without thinking about what those other
Yeah.
films were. Um, Especially when it comes to the villains, quote unquote, um, the MacGuffins, the bad guys, if you will. But I do think that you're right, jokes that what they do in terms of the version of Johnny that we get is like just the right amount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They focus more on the smarts than
I
like
was
his
gonna, that
antics
was
and stuff like that. Yeah. I say he's more in the brother role in this one, like more, stepping up to want to take care of Franklin, and you see the brother and sister dynamic, and steady coming to each other to check on each other and stuff like that. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, he's just you're not pushed to hate him
Yeah.
and his ego and how, you know what I mean, like how into himself he is. That isn't really there, and I think that helps the whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, Ben, I think that there's a good amount that was left on the cutting room floor. You see glimpses of him kind of wanting our relationship, maybe missing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
his human form, but it's so slight and it's so in passing that they almost could have left it out altogether. Like, to be honest, they kind of could have cut Natasha Leone. I love me some Natasha Leone, but they could have really just cut her out completely.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I think it would have been fine, and it wouldn't have made a difference in who he was and what was happening with the character. So I think he's the character we missed out on the most.
Mm-hmm.
Get those light touches of like him cooking and his
Hmm.
ability, even though he is rough and tough. Again, he's made out of rock, but like he can pick up the baby. You know what I mean? And
Right.
Yeah.
like the kinds of things that he can do. Um, Reed is sufficiently and correctly maniacal. in this movie. This this version of Reed Richards is exactly the right kind of Reed Richards to mirror what we got with Tony Stark. In the I need to put a barrier around the planet
Mhm.
and protect the planet. That's what I have to do, and that's what he has to do. And the only way he knows how to do it is math.
He was mathing some math up on that
Oh yeah,
chalkboard.
for sure. With a big ass chalkboard too.
You know, and then of course Sue, powerful. Just
Yes.
you know, again they allow you to see not just how powerful she can be in terms of what her abilities are, but her ability to negotiate, who she is from a political standpoint.
Yeah.
Um, Actually bringing in characters like a mole man and seeing like those kinds of fights actually kind of reminds me of what we just saw in Superman, right? Kind of taking it to
Hmm.
that step. This movie is much more comic book than what we have gotten, I feel like, in previous installments of the MCU. And maybe
Agree.
that's because of the time
Hmm.
frame in which it takes place, this very
Mhm.
60s version
Yeah.
of Earth. Um, with Herbie running around looking like Rosie from the Jetsons.
Essence.
Yeah.
Um, and to some extent, shout out to Herbie.
Oh yeah. He was clutching a lot in a lot of
Hmm.
Yeah,
punches throughout the movie. Yeah. Calling on
never
him
been
all
a
the
part of
time.
any of the other films. Really not a character anybody ever talks about or thinks about.
Hmm.
And I think they did a good job of making him seem like he fits in and that he belonged in this, and they gave him some key things to do. So again, when we talk about everybody kind of playing their role and having their own space and that kind of thing, I think they do a really good job. I think it's really solid. Sin, your thoughts on the characters, characterization?
Uh, I like them. Pretty much same thing y'all said. Like I liked it being them really highlighting the family aspect of the Fantastic Four and that being like front and center. I appreciated that. Like I said, I love how they toned down Johnny. He wasn't so wild and crazy, and they focused on his intellect and things of that nature. I agree with the thing. Yeah, the love thing could have been. I was wondering they were going to play into that more. But I was like, I don't
Hmm.
think that they needed this one. They can save that for a part two or something like that. Dive a little more into that with everything going on. They didn't need it in this one. Uh, I was interested to see where they were going to go with Reed because just like you, Joseph, I don't know too much about the Fantastic Four. I'm not a fan of myself, but I've heard like the asshole kind of side of him. So getting to see that glimpse, a little bit of that glimpse in this movie, and like his thought process of like he has to solve everything, no matter what the question is. He has to know everything around it, like what's the end game going to be, things of that nature. He has to solve everything, and it was good to see him and Sue kind of get into that spat about. So I know what you're thinking. Like, I know you better than that. Like, no, we're not.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you better than that. So I like seeing that aspect come out of him. So it may make it, especially knowing that they want to kind of use him as the linchpin now going forward to replace Iron Man or Tony Stark, if you will. I can be down with that. I can be down with that.
What about Sue?
Nope, I like. She might overall have been my favorite character. Like I love the scene where she brought out the baby in front of everybody. Like whatever, take my baby out there, let them try something. I'm gonna talk to the people. Thought that was a dope scene. I enjoyed that. I like seeing her get her power off. Like they've actually showing like how powerful she could be when she went up against Galactus. That was cool. They actually went that far with it, didn't like save it for later. But yeah, her and Johnny, I agree. Overall, probably my two favorite characters out of this. Yeah.
Sin, tell me what you don't like about this film.
I didn't like the comedy in it. I didn't find it funny. It was like one time I think where I really laughed, and that was when the little robot cursed. Uh, like he didn't say it, but you could tell from the
It was
sound
like
level.
what the f like it was
Yeah,
all
something
that.
like that. I was like, okay, we know what you said, even though you didn't say it. Kind of chuckled at that. Other than that, I didn't find the comedy particularly funny in it. Uh, and I never found myself excited watching the movie. Like there wasn't a scene that happened, nothing with Galactus or anything where I felt like excitement. It was just like, okay, I'm just watching it. I'm cool, but like nothing was getting me like hype and like want to sit up on the edge of my seat and watch it. That didn't happen to me like one time watching it. So those are about to say the two biggest things I didn't like about the movie.
Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
What don't you like about the movie?
Um, Crazy enough, this is. I feel like this one's kind of like a double edged sword. Like, and going with like the length of the like the MCU movies, like I feel like it being the shortest the shortest in a good little while. I feel like having just a few extra minutes, kind of like how you talked about, like, Ben probably trying to get into the love interest and things like that. Maybe a few more minutes just to flush out maybe a few of those moments. Um, Other than that, like I don't really have too many complaints. At times it did feel as though we were trying to move a little bit faster through, but obviously, smaller crunch time that we're working with in there. It just seemed like we wanted to move a little bit quicker, which honestly sometimes isn't a bad thing. It's kind of like, get in, here's the story, here we're doing, because most of it, like, it was pretty straightforward. Like, it really wasn't like super twists and turns and anything like that, which I thought was for this. I know we're trying to set up for the next latest and greatest thing, but I think people sometimes have to tone it back a little bit to just sit and enjoy what it is that we're getting right in this moment for it. So, but outside of that, I didn't have like the comedy. I thought was okay. Like, I didn't think they
Yeah.
drove over the top with it. It was placed in little small moments that really were just, here's a quick little funny thing that we noticed. Let's just get back to the serious now. So it didn't really bother me because I feel like if they'd have thrown in, a whole, but like say if it was Johnny, for instance, if he was just
Mm-hmm.
like comedy through the whole entire thing, I feel like that would have really just taken away from it. So I think they did a decent job with the comedy in it. But other than that, I really don't have a lot of complaints. Galactus.
I just remember one thing that did bother me a little bit. I thought the opening sequence you were talking about jokes where they were showing
Mhm.
everything from the past, how they came up. I thought that ran a little bit long for me. I found that losing my interest by the time they were right like getting towards the end of it, like, okay, like can we just speed this up? We know, like let's get to what this movie's about type of deal.
But not everybody does know. So I
Mhm.
hear what you're
I
saying, but I
understand it, but
think
yeah.
people who aren't, you
Mhm.
know,
I thought it was
and
cool they threw in like
I
the
have to
old
admit
cheesy villains
that
in there.
they weren't like, look, yeah, don't give us an origin story again, but
Right.
give us
Mhm.
the quick kind of,
They're new to the
here's what's going
MCU,
on,
so
here's
yeah.
how long they've been in position,
Mhm.
here's what happened
Hmm.
4 years ago. This is what happened. You know what I mean? And here we go.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool way to kind of use like 60s style television to kind of
Mhm.
tell that story.
That
And
was cool.
I love that.
Yeah, that
I
was kind
love
of cool. Yeah.
um, I like the idea that they are, you know, the stars of this world, that they are the
that.
saviors, that there aren't other superheroes. It's like it's just them.
It's just
I
them.
thought that was
You
interesting
know?
too. The whole time I was watching, it was like all this pomp and circumstance around them. Like we don't see that in the MCU like that. Like it's none of that we've seen for. Well, I guess maybe after the blip with the Avengers, like when they got plays and stuff like that. But like just seeing that fanfare everywhere for the Fantastic Four was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of her heading up the Future Foundation as, basically like the UN,
Yeah, and kind
kind
of.
of
Yep.
bringing everything together, and them consistently showing Latveria and nobody being
Yeah,
there.
Hey, listen, no one in that
Consistently
seat.
the flag and just drop. And so, like, the thing about something like that is that if you don't know, you won't know.
You won't
yeah,
know.
Like, that won't mean anything to you, that they pan past the word Latveria and the flag and show that there's nobody sitting there, or the other way around, like later on. Like, if you don't know, you don't
that's
know.
something after Doomsday comes out. People will go back and rewatch stuff and be like, "Oh,
And no,
that's what that."
no.
Yeah, they go back and
As
find that
soon as
later.
I saw it the first time when they went past and saw the flag, I was like, "Oh, he already scheming." I'm like,
Yeah, everybody in the theater had a little reaction when they showed the empty space.
Yeah, it's interesting to me to see what that means and
Mhm.
where it goes, because obviously, in some manner, there's a Victor Von Doom that lives here, but what happened to him, right?
Right?
And
We don't know.
yeah, like, it's kind of it was a really good bit of foreshadowing that
Hmm.
doesn't really pan out right now, but you know it's going
Oh
to
yeah,
later.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, so I think that's cool. I think I mean I would say that there are moments for me throughout this movie, um, at least in the middle when they go visit Galactus.
Hmm.
I like that. I like them getting excited about going back to space. That being the thing that really gets Johnny hyped up.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Them going to space, connecting, to the FTL, and then hitting that faster than light. I like the way faster than light travel looked
Hmm.
in this. It's not a way that I've ever seen it before. It almost looks like it has something to do with her ability. It almost looked like,
Almost. Yeah, that's what I said.
Hmm.
something like that. It wasn't your typical, stars, and then the stars stretch out, and now you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I like the way that it looked, and I appreciated that setup for it initially. It was like, okay, we're moving faster than light, whatever. We get where we're going, and then the way that we see this planet get devoured looks a lot like the way that whatever that was supposed to be that they called Galactus, that was like big clouds in that last movie they did that had Galactus. It's like, okay, he's here and he's eating it up from the inside, and it was like, you know, getting kind of like caught up in the tractor beam, and like, okay,
Mhm.
this is very different. It wasn't what I expected in terms of what they were going to show with Galactus and how they were going to
Hmm.
portray the character. And I actually like the way they did it. I like it because I couldn't completely figure it out. Like,
Okay.
whatever it is that Slim is inside of is super huge because
Oh, no.
Slim is super huge. You know what I mean? And
And I also
so
like the fact they gave off that whole thing with Galactus when they first met him and gone into space. Everything gave me Star Trek vibes, like the way they
yeah,
were operating in the ship and communicating with each other and helping each other out do stuff. And it gave me, and I appreciate that about. It. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
60s,
Yeah.
60s Star Trek
Yes.
Mhm.
vibe,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And here's the thing. Look, if Guardians is out of the window, out of the
Hmm.
picture, these are our spacefarers.
Hey, gotta get
So
some close.
much of what
Yeah.
the Fantastic Four does is about being out and being
Hmm.
in space and doing that kind of thing.
Hmm.
We don't really have that anymore. And so, yeah, let's start them out here and make them Earth protectors because that's, what they are. But like the reality of it is so many of their adventures and their stories do take place outside of
Hmm.
our atmosphere.
They
You know what
do.
I
They deal
mean?
with cosmic level stuff.
Yeah. And they seem so comfortable.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just like they seem so comfortable with their abilities and with how they act and react and how they deal with the ship and knowing all the things they need to do, the terminology they're using or whatever. But I do sit up on my seat a bit when it's time for like, all right, we got to get out of here. Let's jump in the ship. Now, do I agree with how it happened and how they got away versus how they should have, what? Nah, not really. But let's make it very clear. We need you to understand how powerful the Silver Surfer is, like what the Silver Surfer can do. Just because you moving faster than light don't mean you can outrun me.
Hmm.
And I think that's an important statement, you know what I mean, to make. Even just getting moments of a quick flashback of what her story is,
Yeah.
what happened to her. I think is important. Do I think that the character is almost throwaway? Yes. Yes,
Hmm.
I do. I think the character's almost throwaway. However, I like what they did. I like what they did. I like the way that they showed her. I like the way that she moved. I do kind of have a bit of an appreciation for Johnny's interest in it and his questions about the
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 board
board.
being
you
a part of her
know.
body.
Hmm.
I do think that was a misplaced joke when they're on the ground and things are going or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, okay, well." Surfboard and the body aren't, it's not one thing. You know what I mean? Like that definitely landed flat for me. But the idea of like Galactus being like, I'm finna get that baby right now. So you going into labor, dog. Like this is what we're
Yo,
doing.
The
You know what I mean? Is I thought it was cool. I thought it was really dope when she made her stomach invisible
that was
and
fire.
that was
That
clean.
was fire.
so that Reed could see the baby. I was like, dog, I've never,
Yeah, that was creative.
always getting an opportunity to see them do things with their abilities I've never really
Mhm.
seen
Mhm.
before. That I think that's not maybe like a sit forward in my seat moment, but in my head, I'm like, yo, that's pretty
Yeah,
dope.
I said the same
You know
thing.
what I mean? Um, I do think that there are moments like that. I do think that that escape, if you will, was good. Like, just I feel like the tension was good between them trying to get away, her having contractions and trying to have the baby. Reed being the kind of science jerk that he is like, hey, can you make the ship disappear?
After your next
After your
contraction,
next contraction,
After
I
your,
was like,
after your next contract.
hey,
You know
listen,
what I
there was
mean?
a
Like,
little thought. There was at
Yeah.
least a little thought in there because he could have said, "I need you to make this ship invisible right now and go through it." But he at least,
I don't know if he was gonna have a choice, and I don't
yeah,
think she was gonna let him survive it. Let me tell you what I don't like, because I
talk
actually
to us.
like a lot about the movie.
Mm.
I hate. I I don't know what it is. I don't know why they can't figure it out, but it always looks like trash when Mr. Fantastic stretches. It looks like trash. Everything else feels like they got Ben. Ben is right.
Yeah,
Like the way he moves, what he's doing, like it is right. It is correct. I feel good about it. Like Hulk levels of good about it. When this dude starts to dog, there is something about, I don't know, like the movement, the stretching of his clothes, or it just always looks bad. It doesn't look good, and I don't know what they need to do, but they need to not do what they did because it looks bad. Also, the baby was definitely CG
oh, the
at the
baby was
oh
moment
CG.
yes,
crawl
oh
out of.
yes,
Oh, that
No,
joint
the
looked
baby was. Hey, listen, I'm
real
gonna be
bad.
honest with
fake.
you. When
Yeah.
the baby first came out, and you saw the CG head, I was thinking like, "Oh, there is something up with the baby."
Oh,
Like
yeah, I was
immediately,
like, what's wrong with
I
his
thought,
hand?
I'm thinking something's getting ready to happen, like straight off the break. And I was like, "Oh no, he's supposed to just be a regular baby." He just,
Well, here's the thing: the baby came out the way a baby's supposed to come out, nasty. Came out nasty and messy. But then the baby was very clean.
Oh, yeah,
It was like, all right, they had a little cut, and you know what I
mhm.
mean, or whatever. It's a little. I mean, look, I'm not. She pushed one time, but they were in like the vacuums of space trying to make
Yeah.
like I don't
Try to
know.
Tokyo drift
hey,
that
listen,
thing, pick up
They
some
physics were
did.
momentum.
different.
Yeah,
They
Really
did all that.
did slingshot. I mean, the
yeah.
kind of gravitational pull. You know, my man said you can't push without gravity. She looked at him like, if
Like
you say one
another.
more scientific clue right now,
I'm going
I
to
will
break you.
encase your lungs in an invisible shield.
Nah.
Um, yeah, like all of that is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Mhm.
Them making their getaway from Galactus and the Silver Surfer, like,
Surfing
I got,
on
Mhm.
yeah, I gotta go get him. Matter of fact, I'm about to go get this baby. Like, she tried to reach inside this youngin'
Dog,
and take
she
it.
was going
yeah.
to yoink the baby. Like,
You nasty, bro.
Had her fingertips
Chill.
all up in there.
Ew, bruh.
hey, listen, it was
Ew.
next to what's her face from Wolverine and Deadpool, like putting hand all in the face and stuff. Like she was
Oh,
about to go. She was about to go to that.
It
that was
wasn't. It's
worse.
nowhere near
That
that
was
bad.
No,
worse.
if she'd have got the baby out, it probably would have been.
Ew.
Ugh.
Ill jokes. Um, you're nasty, dog. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that. I thought that was cool. I do think that, like, I actually have a high appreciation also for like Stakes are high. Stakes are so high, and we don't know what we're gonna do. We know we're gonna figure it out. And I'll be honest, I went into this movie convinced they were gonna lose.
I was
So
too.
did
You
I.
know,
So did I.
listen. I was like, oh yeah, they thinking about, in after credits from Thunderbolts leading into this, and now honestly, we still got nothing of that. So that's gonna be a
Yeah.
whole another piece that's just left on the table. But yeah, no, I was for sure there was
At the
gonna
time,
be
I'm trying to
epic
think
there.
like, okay, if we're going into Doomsday pretty much after this, we can't just let Galactus be sitting just as a bigger threat out there. So how are they going to get past this?
It's
Because I was expecting them to
crazy.
lose.
And it's crazy that
They
they like,
can, because if his plan worked in turn. All right, look. If I start turning into a nerd right now,
do
y'all
it.
are gonna be upset because I will break this movie.
Wow,
I will break this movie. However, if what he said was right, like we will just send him, it will take him millions of years before he can find where we are, right? So wherever it was that they were going to transport the Earth to, if they transported him there and he has no ship, because that's the other thing. What did they do with his ship? It
It's
was
just sitting,
4 years.
that joint's just sitting there.
So
it's
that's
just
the
sitting
other
there.
piece that I'm like, you trying to tell me they didn't go to his ship and start taking that joint apart and doing things with it
I
or
guarantee
something?
you they did.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
guarantee
You know Reed
that
did.
is exactly what. Listen, that is what Doctor Doom has been doing. Oh, Latveria been busy. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
Okay.
new Latveria up there, as big as that
It's
joint.
I look, when they got to the planet and they showed it like breaking from the inside out,
Mhm.
it looked almost exactly like when the Celestials did it in
Yeah.
Eternals.
Eternal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh snap, are they gonna try to make Galactus like be like he's an Eternal now? Earth happens to have, because my man was really coming to eat a Earth, but this Earth doesn't necessarily have a Celestial buried in it.
Right?
But the current MCU one
Right.
does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it looked just like that. And I was like, oh, all right. They're gonna lean in that somewhere and try to connect it all together. No, they didn't. They didn't. They turned him into Unicron
It's
and
pull
let
up.
him just.
Give me that baby. I'm gonna eat the
Yeah, look,
planet.
no, listen, I'm gonna be really real with you. Although I like the getaway, there's no way they could have got away. Because my man had him in a tractor beam.
Yeah.
That's how they ended up in the ship in the first place.
And didn't the tractor beam break two of the engines? And he actually shut
yeah, he was like, shut the engines down. We need to keep the engines.
They did.
Like, shut that joint down.
Not to mention, I don't know what kind of weapons they got, but they fired a single hole in that ship.
I don't know.
In the Galactus planet-eating devourer ship, and just got low. So like, if I want to make this joint like this, if I wanted to say this joint's dumb, oh, I can say it.
Hey, listen, Galactus ain't never had something like this done, so he probably didn't have the extraness of, I don't know, extra thick metal doors. I don't know,
like that,
because ain't nobody done nothing like this to him before. So
there's a part of me that could concede the idea that Galactus is like, I'm gonna go do this, but I kind of really need to be careful about this. I don't want to actually kill the baby. I need that baby.
Need that baby.
Need the cosmic baby.
I've got to get free from this hunger, and Slim is about to take this seat. So you can have your planet if you give me. I'm gonna be real. I didn't see that coming. That just wasn't specifically in my playbook of things that were gonna be like, I knew how important Franklin was going to be to some extent to the plot, and I know that Franklin is important in the overall comics and the kind of relationship. Like, there's a relationship between Galactus and Franklin Richards, but like, I didn't see that coming. And him just being like, I think that's what I like the most about the movie is the ultimatum that's given to them, right? They build them up in the beginning of the movie as They save us all the time. Like Reed's tracking all the criminal activity on. We don't have to get up. We got it. We got it. That's them.
Yeah.
I put something in place so the police can take care of so and so. The toy makers over there doing this and like naming all the Bama,
everything,
all the terrible villains and stuff that they've had. Using Mole Man in this, like all of that, right? But building them up that they are literally the planet saver. They are the complete opposite of what the Avengers are in the MCU. By the time, like the Avengers might have been that to the world after New York. Everything else they did after New York, the world hates them. Yeah. They're extremely divisible. You know what I mean? Like people could love them, they could hate them. They destroyed whole. They're to blame for so much destruction. The Fantastic Four are like perfect. Yeah. The world is behind them. Everybody loves them.
Everybody is.
Probably except for Dr. Doom.
Yeah, when you make a call, when you say, "Hey, world, y'all turn off the lights tonight."
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And everybody does. Yeah, you're loved.
Well, I mean, again, it's like
I thought that was interesting too. I noticed in that scene. He asked everybody, "Can we turn off the lights? We gotta save up this energy." But your lights was on in your house. In the back.
Nah, they went out because remember my man was shaving. He was trying to shave.
All the power went out.
It wasn't out in the nursery.
I think
the background and all sorts of stuff like
all that stuff probably. Listen, Reed probably for the baby.
I think they were running on some battery though, because they also had like lights that were shining. Listen, I don't care if I'm not. Let me not give him no excuses. I don't owe Reed Richards nothing. So yes, and you right. They had their lights on. You know what I mean? What I like is that they set the stage and build them up as these like they can do, and the entire world believes it. Yeah. Like when he's like, "We're just gonna get in the ship, and we just gonna go, and we will protect you." And the entire world's like, "Bet." So when they get back,
that's what
she got the baby. Like, bet she had the baby and everything. They get back and they like, "Hey, tell us how you beat Galactus." Like, it's not even.
Listen, that's one of my favorite parts.
There's no
faces went
about it to them. Yeah,
they would break. Like, how'd you beat? Like, excuse me, we ain't beat him. What do you mean you ain't beat him? Like
we went to negotiate.
Yeah. We tried to negotiate and Galactus, but he told him the truth. That's the other thing that kind of got me because he didn't have to say that. But he straight up was like, "We tried to negotiate. The price was too high." That's where he ended it, and they were like, "Well, what was the price?" You know what I'm saying? Like
the price was too high.
Yeah, he could have left it at that and just walked off.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't you worry about it.
We literally just landed 3 minutes ago.
What he should have said is, Galactus said, if everybody gives up their firstborn, they let the planet go. See how y'all act now. You know what I'm saying? But no, he just straight up told him like they wanted our child. He said if we give up our child, the planet can have it. And my man,
people
they were out there like,
man,
hey, and he said no.
After that baby,
I was like, "Hey, bro," I was like, "This is the people that cheer y'all on right now." Like, listen, y'all can't have a family.
Got real ruthless, real quick, dog. Real quick. If this was like not the '60s, dog, or if Ben Grimm wasn't so big, it would have been Bama's running past him, throwing stuff at Slim. They were just running past him like, "What about us?" And he was like, "It's getting bad out there, guys. That's bad. Like, what about us? It's bad." Nah, dog. Like I like that those stakes that they set them up and put them on such a high pedestal, and then you give them like how do you make that decision, right? And you do kind of have to put yourself in that position. If it was you, what would you do?
You giving up your firstborn?
Are you giving up your only born? You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting in the movie theater next to mine. You know what I'm saying? If Galactus say your baby or the Earth, hey, Galactus, kick rocks or eat rocks, have this planet. You know what I'm saying? We all going in. You know what I mean? Like it ain't. What do you do? What would you do, Sin?
I don't know. You're not getting my firstborn, Slim. Not happening.
That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't give Galactus your cat.
Hey, man, What?
No,
You see what I'm saying?
Yep, that's
Being
it.
vicious, rather die.
Then you
There you go.
come back to Earth. Hey, dog, they didn't have to go back to Earth. Dog, they could have went
Dog,
wherever
they
for
could
real.
have
True.
got low. Like
They could
after
have
he
just
came up
went.
with the hey, listen, after they came up with the teleportation thing, I was just like, hey, listen, y'all go anywhere right now and be fine. Like, hey, listen, Reed already talked about other Earths, parallel universes, and all this type of stuff. Like, you guys can go find someplace else. Like, you don't have to rebuild, but y'all can go find someplace else.
Well, I think that's what we're looking at. Is we'll probably be looking at a Council of Reeds where there are a bunch of worlds where the decisions were made differently by different Reeds.
Different.
You know what I mean? And you'll see consequences of all the different things that happen. But in this world, they made the decision and it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. You know, I have issues with scale when it comes to like how big Galactus is
Yeah,
versus
I
how
did too.
That was
Galactus isn't. Because you're real big, dog, but I don't feel like you could fit down
No.
a single street.
Absolutely not.
no, like,
Absolutely not.
like
There's
I
no
feel
way.
You usually just see like his head, like his face from
Earth.
he's so
like
massive.
if you're on like as part I was thinking, you know what, maybe they would write in somehow, you know, this would have been like he kind of did this in the comics at a point in time, but maybe have the ability to, you know, change his size, you know, becoming, you know, his true gigantic side that he would devour a planet versus, you know what, for transportation needs or whatever, I can shrink down and now fit in this gigantic ship that I have. So I thought maybe they would have done something like that to give a little more explanation. Because when he came, listen, when he just splashed down and stood up, I was just like, hey, bro, you kind of small. Like I was thinking, like,
I don't know why first they popped by the guys. I'm like, come on, pay whoop him.
hey, listen,
Get him out of here.
Godzilla or King Kong for all that matter. Like that was the maybe for their
Scale-wise,
world, maybe for their world, that's what a celestial is in comparison to
For
that of obviously,
Galactus, period. It's just like
yeah, and versus like
when
our
he is in the
MC.
ship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let me ask you a question, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
In the comic books, how does Galactus travel?
Well, they just floats through space. And so I just thought he floated through space, like the way that it seemed like in the comics. Like
when he had where was Galactus when that planet was being again? You think if he's inside the ship that they went into, and his ship basically was what was devouring the planet somehow from the inside out? I don't think that
he had a throne.
Correct.
He had a throne in that
correct. But the ship looked like it might have been like the size of the moon, like smaller than the moon. You know what I mean? When it showed up, and I'm like, all right, this is a Galactus that ain't but so big. But you know, I do think to do something like this, to put it in live action, I think you have to do something. I'm not even really, it's not even really so much the scale of how big Galactus should be comic book wise versus how big he was there. For how big he was, like when he touched down at Ellis Island, which is, that's supposed to be the thing. That was a statement that they were making. It was an alien coming down and landing at Ellis Island, which is the way that all American citizens got here. You know what I mean? Like all of what's going on right now. That was them making a political statement with him turning and looking at it.
Looking at the statue, yep.
Not doing anything to it. It was him arriving to America at Ellis Island. That's literally what that was. When he climbs up onto Manhattan, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and picks up a ball of dirt just to sniff that joint. Like, oh my goodness, this joint smell like cosmic baby. Like, I'm about to find me. Like the way Johnny was peeking at him around the corner when he saw him do that. Like, hey, Slim, he a weirdo. If we get him enough grass, he might leave us alone, dog. Like, we might just need to like. I'm just talking about literally the scale of like, if you're that big, you're the size of a building, and like I don't have your boots walking side by side down the street. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't. New York streets ain't that wide to me. Like I just don't.
Not at all.
I just don't think it's happening. But
Shoulder should have been hitting buildings. Like I know he was hitting a little bit, but I, I feel like, bro, you should have just been like pancaking everything in your path walking down the street.
they
Just
did what they
casually
could
walking
with
like
it.
a New Yorker.
I do feel like if Reed managed to figure out that he could use like a telephone pole to like unscrew Galactus's back or whatever that was, like, hey
Had the
dog,
manhole covers on them.
you told me Slim got a gas tank in the back and you could just let his gas out?
Bro, he just said all the
I
lava
ain't gonna
started
lie.
pouring out. I was like,
I thought that was gonna be the plan. Hit
Okay.
him in the gas. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was going. He's
Hit him in the
vulnerable in
manhole.
his gas tank. Yeah, get him in the manhole. Ew. I said, don't never let nobody hit you in your manhole.
nah, nah.
oh my god.
I thought that's what they were gonna do. But having Sue kind of come to the rescue, you know,
Hey.
it's you know it. You knew as soon as it happened, like, oh, she gonna die, and that's cool because they just gonna bring her back. But I'll be honest, for a moment, I thought to myself,
I was like,
oh,
oh. I was
nah,
like,
this is the thing. I thought this is what's gonna make Reed really snap, and he's gonna be trying to go to every universe to save her. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I thought maybe, just maybe. And then when I seen that crazy looking
Cosmic baby.
infant trying to crawl, what? That's CG baby dog. That joint
Yeah,
looked like
that wasn't
old
cut.
dancing baby, bro. Like that
Yeah,
first
it
meme.
wasn't the baby wasn't cut.
It was really bad, dog. When I saw that, I was like, oh, all right, well, he got a cosmic power. He gonna bring her back to life. And I can appreciate that when she opened her eyes, she actually had like the
Yeah, you see the
cosmic
power. Yeah.
eyes, which again, there is another child already in the MCU that has that, and it's Thor's daughter.
Yeah.
Remember from it, and so
Mm-hmm.
who knows what we about to be really dealing with as far as that's concerned. Um, yeah, look, I think the ending was cool. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. What I don't like about the movie is not outweighed by what I do like about the movie. I am slightly surprised by liking a Fantastic Four movie as much as I do. I feel like I was concerned about the casting up front. Again, I feel like they knocked it out of the park.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think they proved me wrong. And I like it. I'm still excited for what this means going forward.
100%.
You know, given the after credit scenes
Mm-hmm.
that we got. Spammer Dr. Doom just walked up in the house.
Hey, cosmic baby, you need to come with me.
Probably awesome. I'm the only one that can protect you, kind of thing.
True.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You know what? I mean, I might be sitting at an 8. I'm trying to decide if I like this better than Thunderbolts, and I'm not completely sure. But I might. I feel like they did pure justice to original comics, Herbie, Fantastic Car. Like none of it actually felt corny, and I think it's always felt corny because they tried to keep them current. And I think
having them in the 60s with that 60s style and vibe helped out a lot.
it saves it. It really does because one of the things that I've always felt like is corny about them is just how old their name is, like how old they just seem and they feel as characters.
Powers, fire,
it just,
strength, stretchy, invisible, just basic kind of things.
Yeah. And putting them in that time frame with those outfits, just like just the microphones and like again, they had some high tech, but just
the TV
the
sets.
microphones,
It's still,
the TVs are there's no
Yeah.
4K. This is CRTs. You know what I mean? Still.
Record players.
I can create teleportation.
And listen, them records were like gold. So
Yeah, like a little see-through. Yeah.
and listen, so it was a little extra upgrade. So I don't know if that helped with fidelity or whatever, but
I mean, I just think it might have been the smartest thing they could have done is put it in the time frame they did. Like, it made the ship actually seem cool to me. And you know what I mean? Tons of advertisements, man. Canada Dry was everywhere. But it was, you know what I mean? But it was I don't know, man. It like it worked for me. As like a period piece with, you know what I mean, with superheroes, with you know, super powered individuals. I like it. So yeah, I mean, I might actually be, the more I think about it, sitting closer to an 8 than I initially was. Again, I'm not like, a 7 would still be, I think, good, and I think it's worth going to see. I don't know if it could necessarily be a 7 or an 8 if it didn't exist within the confines of the MCU. If there wasn't a Doctor Doom thing waiting at the end, and if there hadn't been a stinger that we already saw that came from the Thunderbolts, like, I don't know where this would sit. Fortunately, I don't have to worry about that because it does sit within the confines of the MCU. It isn't like the other Fantastic Four movies where, you know, it was all Fox, but there was never any thought at all that like the X-Men were going to cross over with the Fantastic Four. Right? But now
it's a real thought.
The fact that is a, you know what I mean, I think is important. So yeah, I mean, I might have to, I might sit, because I can't really decide between a 7 and 8. I'm just gonna go 7.5 because that's where I feel like makes the most sense. Are we still sitting in the same places, Sim? What are you thinking?
I was actually gonna say 7.5 for me now. Like, just some of the discussion that we had. Okay, I can bump it up to. I'm not comfortable with a solid 8, but put a little more respect on it. I can do a 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah. Jokes?
Still go with my 8.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
If you haven't seen it, go see it for yourself. If you haven't seen it yet, it's worth it. It's worth the trip to the theater to check out.
Okay. Yeah. IMAX?
Yeah. I would do one of those for the sound and the visuals. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You agree, Jokes?
Yep. Solid watch. I saw it in the Dolby Atmos theater. The sound was amazing. So I say this is worthwhile going and seeing it in theater. I would not wait. Obviously it's an MCU thing too. It's sometimes it's not a good thing to wait for one of those to end up coming to digital because you may miss out on something. Because, you know, come next week, Marvel tends to just put everything in the trailer. So I would highly say go see it in theater.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if this has that many surprises in it. Like,
it's not. It's very straightforward. It's very straightforward. I'm happy that a lot of what was in the trailer was kind of in the beginning, and then like a small few pieces that they threw from like throughout the movie were like just very, very minor things that they did in it for. So you would have never figured out, honestly, most of the story. It's straightforward, but yeah.
I dig it. This has been your Spoiler Boys discussion for Fantastic Four First Steps. I want to thank y'all for hanging out and tuning in. We'll be back when the next movie drops.
Yep.
Loading snacks.